Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Dorsey, for being here. You know, I don't know if anyone else has mentioned the breathtaking irony that Donald Trump is complaining about Twitter. It's hard for me to imagine he would have done nearly as well as he did without your platform, and he's a master of using it. I think it has done some wonderful things for democracy. It's democratized democracy in many ways. We saw that here in the House when we live streamed the protest over guns in 2016. It brought people into the chamber in a way that I think none of us had imagined before. I use it a lot just to stay connected back home in San Diego. I find out what's going on every day in the local government, in the local activities. I follow my baseball team's promising minor leagues through it, and I think it's been a great platform. The problem with when anyone can be on your platform, though, is that now everyone's a journalist, and I just want to explore in that context your discussion of the term fairness. Have you ever written down what you mean by fairness? And what I'm sort of getting at is, you have these allegations about facts versus false equivalency that journalism's been dealing with, I think, more successfully recently, trying to provide truth rather than balance. Is that something that goes into your calculation of fairness? And what kind of standards do you impose on content that's on Twitter?
Well, so fairness to us means that we are driving more impartial outcomes, which are more objective driven, not basing anything on bias. And we do want to be able to measure this and also make public what we find. And that's why we kicked off this initiative to understand the health of conversation and how it might trend. One of the indicators that we're considering is shared facts, and that is the percentage of conversation that shares the same facts. That is not an indication of truth or not, but just what percentage of people participating in a conversation are actually sharing the same facts versus having different facts. And we think a greater collection of shared facts leads to a healthier conversation. So then, if we understand the makeup of them currently, how can we help drive more people towards sharing more of the facts? And if we can do that, then we can see a lot more healthy conversations. So that's our intent. But first, we're at the phase where we just need to measure it. Right. And against those 4 indicators I laid out earlier. And we can send you more of our information and thinking about how we're developing these.
I'd love to hear that. One of the problems with everyone having their own facts is it's very hard to have conversations about difficult issues. One that I'm concerned about is climate change. If everyone has a different understanding of the facts, it's hard to agree on what to do about it. Mr. Sarbanes raised the concept of this hearing being a way to work the refs. I don't know if you recall that reference. Is that something that we should be concerned about? Is that something that strikes you as going to have an impact on your business, the notion that the committee would be working the refs through the majority?
I honestly don't know what that means. So
okay, good. So the idea is that they're going to put so much pressure on you to avoid pressure from us that you'll change your behavior in a way that's not fair. And is that something we should be concerned about?
Well, I mean, I think we've articulated what we think is important and what we're trying to drive, and I see the role of government as being a checkpoint to that, and also being a clarifier and asking questions of our path. And I do believe the system is working in that regard. So we're putting out what we believe is critical for us to focus on, and if there are disagreements in mass and feedback we get, we will certainly change our path.
Well, I appreciate your testimony today. My time's expired, and thank the chairman.
Thank the